Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, part 10. So we're gonna continue where we stopped in the last one. So in the last one we are able to play in the background process and stuff like that. I didn't plug my phone, so we don't gonna touch this for this episode. It's gonna be just more about like making other stuff we can do in the simulator. And one of them is gonna be to see the detail of the episode and also doing some stuff with the fact that right now the only episode we are able to play is the one at the top, so I want to be able to play each episode. So example, if we search for full stack right there, this is where we are. If I click on episode, I can play this one. So this one, it's good, we are able to play this one, that's perfect. But the thing is, I'm not able to play those. Okay, so this is something we need to fix. You're gonna see it's gonna be pretty simple. But yeah, it's a thing to check. And also, not in this episode, but in the next one, we're gonna fix this p tag and stuff like that. What is happening? It's those stuff are just HTML, and the thing is, we need to have like kind of a parser for that. Don't worry, we're gonna have one for this. And yeah, and also we have some issue where here with the day, you see Wednesday, but it's not last Wednesday. You see, like this one is the last one, Wednesday, but this one is like a week ago. So this is something, again, we should fix in some other episode. But in the one we are right now, I want to be able to click here and opening episode detail page. And inside that, we're gonna have the button and the episode notes and stuff like that. So the way we're gonna work, it's gonna be pretty simple. So first thing, I'm just changing a bit how I'm doing video. I make the font pretty big, so now it's like 20. I also did add the presentation mode right there, presentation assistant. Plus, you see, is the presentation mode, so you only focus on the code. So I think it's gonna be maybe better. So yeah. So the way we're gonna make it work, the first thing is to create a new component who's gonna be the episode detail. So in the component folder, I'm gonna create a new file in episode detail folder. That's gonna be episode detail screen.tsx. So now here, what we want is we just want to import React from React, creating the bare bone of this one. So episode detail equal function. We're gonna import our box, and inside the box we also need a text, and inside the text we're gonna see episode detail, and we're gonna export default episode detail. That's it. Now, how are we gonna manage that with the navigation? So the thing is, what we need to understand is if we go back to the app, we are able to see a podcast from the search, but also we're gonna be able to see a podcast from the listen now and from the library. The thing is, if we put this inside the search navigator, because remember we have nested navigator, what's gonna happen? It's the library and the listen now don't gonna have access to the search one because it's nested between the search. So the way I think it's better, it's now if we go to the main tab navigator, you see right now inside the search we have the podcast. So I think it's best to just create a new navigator called podcast detail, something like that, who's gonna add the podcast detail and the episode detail. And after that, we can use this navigator inside the others. So what we need to do, first thing, is to just create the stack navigator. We're gonna call that podcast stack. After that, I'm gonna call podcast stack navigator, so a new navigator right there. And this one's gonna return a podcast stack, and that's gonna be a navigator. Okay. After that, this one's gonna have two screens. So the first one's gonna have this one. So I'm gonna just change the name podcast like that. We don't need the option here because that's gonna be managed a lower level, and it's good like that. After that, I'm gonna create another one called episode details, and this episode detail is gonna be the episode. Okay, one sec. I think episode detail I should have just put here, I should have give it screen at the end, like that. So now I can go back here, say episode detail screen, like that. And now this podcast stack navigator gonna take the place of this one. So now if I save, everything should be good. And now we're gonna have access to the episode detail screen. One thing, it's now we're gonna have break our app. You see right there, I just break the app. So you see, if I search for full stack again, and I take the syntax FM and I click here, look here, I'm just breaking everything because now we get undefined as an object evaluating podcast feed URL, podcast detail screen. So if you go to podcast detail screen, we get the podcast data from the route params. That's perfect. That was working well because that was the same navigator. Because if we look to the search screen, when I was on the search style and we navigate right there, I say, hey, go to the podcast detail and pass this data. But the thing is, now the podcast detail become the navigator. So how can we pass this data to something nested inside this navigator? It's pretty simple. What I want you to do is cut this object. I say cut, not because we're gonna remove it, but we're gonna use it after. Now here, you can say screen, podcast detail, and now I can pass some param, like that, I can save. So now if I jump back here, and I search, full stack, and I click, now they shoot, they inject finally the navigator param inside the navigator, nested. So if we look here, finally what is happening, if we go to the main tab right there, what is happening, it's when I say first time podcast detail, the params was stuck here, but now when I say I want to target the podcast detail again, now this is this one. So it's, yeah, it's like that. Okay, so now I want to be able from the podcast detail screen to jump to the episode details screen. So the first thing we need to do first is to get the navigation. So as a hook, so use navigation. I'm gonna import that from React Navigation Native. And I'm gonna scroll down until we see the render item. And inside the render item, what I want to be clickable is this item title. So I'm gonna wrap that inside a touchable opacity. And on press, I want to navigate. We want to navigate to episode detail. And now the beauty of this is this screen is at the same level of episode detail. So we don't need to push nested stuff. So it's gonna always be at the same level. So that's kind of why, like, I did want this navigator to always be together. So they're gonna always work together. So now here, what I want to send, it's first thing episode. So the episode is gonna be equal to item, which came from the render item. And I also want to send the podcast data because we're gonna surely need it. So now I'm here, and now if I click on this one, you see I'm getting pushed to the episode detail. Now what I would like to do is changing this title here. So I'm gonna just, to make your life easier, quit the presentation mode. And how can we change the search title here? If you go back to your main tab navigator like that, if you scroll here where we have the header title, you can change also the header back title, and I want that to equal back. I don't want that to be searched because the thing is, like, remember, this podcast stack navigator maybe gonna be used other places and stuff like that. So we want the title to don't always to look finally back, so from any place. Now after that, it's time to do some design. So that's why I'm gonna quit the presentation mode. That's gonna be simpler for us to see the real-time change. So the first thing is we need to get the route param. So we're gonna say route param, and now I'm gonna show you another way to use it, because remember in the other one that was pretty hard, because the thing is, like, you need to do type navigation param, and you get that from your stack navigation route param list and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not that, I mean, it's that simple, but you can go like that, or you can just do a as. It's your choice. It's your choice. So for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go with like that. So it's gonna be pretty simple. So route param equal use route. I'm gonna import that from React Navigation Native, and I want the param. Also, I want to make sure that if I have nothing, it's an empty object, and I'm gonna wrap that inside a parentheses, because now I'm gonna finally type right there, and I'm gonna say an episode is gonna be equal to the feed query feed, and the podcast is gonna be equal to the search like that. Now if I save, now we have access to the route param. Just to make sure everything is working, I'm gonna say route param dot episode dot title. So now if I save, we get the title right there. That's perfect. First thing, I want the background color to be white, and also I want that to be F1 to take the full place. That's perfect. After that, I want to wrap all the logic here inside a scroll view, because all the screen is going to be scrollable. Plus, if you ask why did I choose a scroll view in this place versus like a flat list, why you will need a flat list when you know that's going to be pretty small. Like you need a flat list when you have a really kind of big amount of data and stuff like that. And now here that's going to be just like description and title, so we don't really care about that. Now we have our scroll view right there. Now what I want to do, it's inside my scroll view. I'm going to have a box with px of small. So now because we want everything to be in some padding. After that, now I'm gonna put this text inside a box, and I'm gonna have here another box where we're gonna put the image. So it's gonna be a height of 60, width of 60, and a radius of 10. So we're gonna have some border radius. And now here, what I'm gonna do, it's I'm gonna put an image right there from React Native. Inside that, we're gonna have URI. I'm gonna also say flex1 to take the full split pace. And here, for the URI, I'm gonna say route param that episode that image. But remember, image can be null, so that's why he kind of don't like it. So I'm gonna say if it's null, take the episode one. So episode route param that podcast one, sorry, like that. So now if I save, we get the image right there, but you see the corner on that run, even if we say the radius. So what happened is the box take the radius of 10, but the image overlap that. So the way you can fix that is by passing an overflow hidden, or you put border radius 10 also in the image. I like to put the hidden because if I change the border radius to like 16, I need to change it in two places. Now I need to change it in just one place. Now you see here, I would like to have some margin. I'm gonna say margin top, I'm gonna say SM also. After that, I want the title to be next to the image. So this box will control here. I'm gonna say there row. So now the title is right there. So now the box of the image gonna have a margin right of 10. And now I want the text here to be wrapped inside a box with flex1, because I want to make sure that this text don't gonna go further. And here I'm gonna just put a box with a width of 50. So it's kind of like an IQ way to break the text like that. So we say like we have a box, a transparent box finally here, and we want to make sure that you don't, this way the text, I think it just looks better. After that, I want the weight of the text to be bold, and I want the size of the text to be small, like that. So it looks already a bit better. After that, what I want to do is to have here a play button. So we need to, you see right there, okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna cut that. Also another tip, it's when you have an element like that, just give you a space like it's gonna look like in the app. So here we're gonna have some margin here. So if you put another space like that, you know then it's gonna look like what you want. I'm gonna put a margin bottom of small for my box. And now inside this one, I want to have the same play icon we use in the podcast detail screen. So for that, I'm gonna just copy this play right there. I don't know if I save. WebStorm just import everything for me, so that's why I don't have issue. But if you have, you need to import it. After that, here I want to have a text. We're gonna say play, and I want the weight to be bold and the size to be small. But I want that to be next to each other, and also I want this one to be aligned center, like that. The reason why I didn't do this here is because I want that to be at the top versus center. And now after that, here I want to have another text who a color is going to be gray light, and his size gonna be x small, and that's gonna be the road param, the episode, the duration, like that. Now after that, I want that to be inside a box, so they're gonna go on top of each other like that. I say gray light, but I think I'm gonna just go with gray. Okay, like that. Now it's good. But now you're gonna maybe get some issue with some episode. You see here what is happening. It's if I do, because I want to use my human duration. If I do this now, we get 0 hour 55 minutes. So this one is good. But in some case, you're gonna have some issue where you're gonna have like too many hour, like 55 hour and stuff. And you see here 40 hour and 23 minutes. I maybe think it's real, but yeah, it's something to check. Also, one thing to check, it's here, you see, if I click here and I go back, you go back from the full stack, because this back button is the back button on of the full stack versus the screen. So this is a thing we need to fix. But yeah, so it's something you can fix. Like I don't have an episode yet where we have an issue, but some people did show me then they have issue with that. So if I'm jumping to my test, like here, this is the way I will fix some stuff like that. Like if you say like you have a 00 55, something like that. So I think we did get this one right there, 55 minutes. I want this to be shown as 55 minutes, like that. Okay, now if I run my test, you're gonna say fail, because right now this is the way we always return. You see right there. So if you want to fix that, what you can do here is you can do a if checkman. So if h equal 00, here you're gonna just return number with the minute, like that. And now if you save, you get it. And now if I run my test, if I run only the one who failed, now everything's working. If you have other issue, I think because some people, like I say, some people did get like 41 hours and stuff like that, you can fix that. Like just give me the episode name and I'm gonna search it, like if you want to know how to do this. But yeah, that's the way with like this kind of TDD stuff and thing like that. It's, you can just add the one where you have some issue right there and try to fix it from here. Okay, so now here we have the episode, we have the play. Now what I want to do, it's like kind of like a separator. So here I'm gonna put a margin bottom of SM. And now here I'm gonna create a separator. The way I like to work with my separator, it's to see it like in a beautiful red first. You see right there, it's red. So now I can put that gray like this. Now it's really thin. Perfect. This guy also is gonna do margin bottom of SM. And now here I want to have the place where we're gonna have the content. So here we're gonna have episode notes. Episode notes. Here I want the size to be X large, and I want also the white to be bold. And now here, this is where we're gonna put everything for the episode. So route param, the episode, and now that's gonna be the description. And now you see we get the big chunk of HTML stuff. All this thing, we're gonna fix that. You see the thing is this, they let you having like a way to have like acre tag, li, it's markdown, so, but not markdown, but it's HTML. So we're gonna need to parse this thing. So don't worry, that's gonna be the thing we're gonna do in the next episode. Now before we quit, what I want to do is to be able to play an episode, okay, from here. So the way that works, and I'm gonna just clean that bit. Like I told you, I like to have my import separate from the library one. So I'm gonna just copy the logic from the onPress here on podcast detail. And now I'm gonna wrap my button play with a touchable opacity, where I'm gonna have this logic, and I'm gonna import that from React Native. And now I need the player context. Player context was this thing, like that. So now here we have access already to the element. So every time you see element, that's gonna be equal to route param that episode. Every time you see podcast data, this is route param that podcast. So now I should be able to play from here.
In this episode of Full Stack Radio,
you see, that's really good. I'm gonna just okay. And now the thing, one issue we got, it's now if I play another episode, look what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna put that a bit bigger. Now I click.
I remember seeing the talk that you gave at MicroConf years ago. I think it's like design.
So we changed the current track,
which has become like
detail and stuff like that, but the episode is still working. So we have some issue with our mini player. It's now, if you go to your player context, that's the issue is right there, okay? If we don't have track, if current track, perfect, we play, that's perfect, okay? This is what is happening. But now what I want to do, it's if we pass a track, but the track don't equal to the current track, I want to remove to reset the player so I'm able to play the new one. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say if we have a current track and track is not equal to the current track, and for that I'm gonna say track the ID it's not equal to track the ID, because I don't want to check the reference, I want to check the value. Here I'm gonna say await around track player that reset. I want to reset. Now I'm gonna refresh to make sure everything is gone. So I'm gonna play another episode from Full Stack. I play this one.
In this episode of Full Stack Radio, I talked to Jason Cohen about hiring people to,
and now I'm gonna play syntax one, but now I'm gonna try our new stuff. Example this one. So developer for slow and spotty. Now you see it worked. We have some flick here, and you see I just find one episode issue with the hour, and I didn't find one before, so we can fix it. So inside the episode, I want to console log this thing. So now that's gonna give us 1618. So now if I go to my lib datetime helper, I'm gonna create another one and I'm gonna say this thing. But this thing here should not equal 16 hours, should equal 16 minutes. But now if I run it, I'm gonna get an issue. Gonna say no, we returned 16 hours and 18 minutes. You see, this is that. So time to fix this thing. So here what you can do is checking the duration split. So I'm gonna say duration split equal like that. So now here I can go with that. But now here, what I can do is, as you can see, in this case, when we have hour, minute, and stuff like that, we have 3 elements. We have the hour, the minute, and the second. But now here we can say if the duration split that length equal 2, the duration split here, the way that's gonna work, it's gonna be minute first. And now I can just return this thing. Now if I save, we get 16 minutes. And now if I rerun my test, we get 16 minutes. But now I'm gonna just make sure that all my tests for this function is passing. Everything is passing. So now we are good to go. Okay. Now you see, I'm able to play an episode. I'm gonna play another one. I just changed podcast because we want to change the voice. But now if I play,
Hey everyone,
you see
before we get into the
what
show,
is happening right there?
some
Look at
pretty
the
big
pause
news,
here.
And that is that last week we finally launched early access
What
to
is happening?
UI, which is a
I don't like this flick, not at all. So it's my logic was not good the last time. I want finally, if it's pause, it's that. If it's not pause, I want the play. I don't care about the stop, and I'm gonna remove that. So now if I play another episode, you see, you don't have any more the flick.
In this episode of Full Stack Radio, I talked to Jason.
So that's it. So I think this is that for this episode. Next one, it's time to change this HTML. I don't like it. It's gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna use a nice library, and I want to fix this thing because right now it's really not what I want. I want to fix, like, if I go to JSON here and I click back, I should go back to the episode. And you see, you can do this already if you swipe. So yeah. So I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna talk in part 11. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.